welcome back to another What's for Dinner video, or if you are new, welcome. My name is Veronica. In today's video, I am going to be sharing with you some meals that I fixed for my family this past week. We tried 3 new recipes and they were absolutely delicious. So I hope this video can give you and your family some meal inspiration and maybe some new meal ideas to try. Let's get to cooking. This night for dinner, I fixed chicken Parmesan. The first thing that I done was laid out 8 thinly sliced chicken breasts, and I just trimmed the fat off of those. This recipe serves 8 people, so if you have a smaller or a larger family, you can adjust this recipe to meet your family's needs. This was my first time making chicken Parmesan, and it turned out super delicious. We all loved it, and it was very simple to make, and this was probably the best chicken Parmesan that I have ever ate. After I got my chicken trimmed, I set that to the side and I started preparing my other ingredients. I used 3 shallow bowls, and in one of the bowls I added 1 cup of all-purpose flour. I also added 2 teaspoons of salt to the flour. And 1 teaspoon of black pepper. Once I got my flour, my salt, and my pepper added to that bowl, I just took my mini whisk and whisked all of those dry ingredients together. In my second shallow bowl, I added 4 large eggs. Once I got all of my eggs added, I then took my whisk and whisked all of those eggs together. In my third shallow bowl, I added in 1 cup of Italian breadcrumbs, and 1 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese. And then I mixed the Italian breadcrumbs and the Parmesan cheese together. After I got my little dipping station set up, I then took my chicken one at a time and I dipped it in the flour on each side. I then dipped it in the eggs and let the eggs run off before dipping it in my Italian breadcrumbs and Parmesan cheese. Whenever I dip my chicken into my Italian breadcrumbs and my Parmesan cheese, I just made sure to press slightly down on my chicken on each side to make sure each side was well coated in all of that mixture. And then I just repeated that process for each chicken breast. Once I got all of my chicken dipped in all of that mixture, I just set all of that chicken on a large plate and placed that to the side. And then in a large skillet, I added in 4 tablespoons of olive oil, and I let that olive oil heat up. Once the oil was hot, I then added my chicken to my pan, and I cooked the chicken for about 3 to 4 minutes on each side, just until each side was golden brown. On the other side of my stove, you can see I also had some potatoes boiling in water to make some mashed potatoes as a side. Once my chicken was a golden brown color on each side, I then removed the chicken from the pan. Once my chicken was finished, I then moved over to the other side of my counter, and in a large baking dish, I added half of a 24-ounce jar of marinara sauce to the bottom of my baking dish, and then I just spread that marinara sauce around on the bottom to make sure it was coated evenly. I then added 4 of my chicken breasts on top of the marinara sauce. Once I got all of my chicken added, I then just poured the remaining marinara sauce over top of the chicken and just made sure all of the chicken was coated in the marinara sauce. I just took a spoon and just kind of spooned it over the chicken and then just kind of spooned some from the bottom. Like I said, I just wanted to make sure all of my chicken was well coated in all of the marinara sauce. I then sprinkled some mozzarella cheese over top of the marinara sauce. I then repeated this same exact process in another large baking dish to add my remaining chicken, and then I stuck it in the oven that I had preheated to 425 degrees and I baked it for 15 minutes. And this is what it looks like whenever it comes out of the oven. It looks so good here. It makes me want it again. I also fixed some broccoli to have as a side, and I sprinkled some Kinders or Condors, however you want to pronounce that, buttery steakhouse seasoning over top of my broccoli. And we also had some mashed potatoes and some brown and served dinner rolls as a side. And here's my plate. And this meal was so good. Like I said, we all loved it, and I will definitely be fixing this chicken Parmesan again. This night for dinner, I fixed beef enchilada bubble up. The first thing that I done was brown 1 pound of lean ground beef. This was our first time trying this meal, and I cannot tell you how good it was. It was beyond delicious. It's now one of our family's favorite meals. I will definitely be making this again, probably in the near future. It was that good. While my ground beef was finishing cooking, I then preheated my oven to 350 degrees. And then whenever my beef was finished cooking, I then just took that and drained all of the grease off of it. I then added in 1 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, 1 10-ounce can of red enchilada sauce, and 1 1-ounce pack of taco seasoning. Once I got those ingredients added, I just mixed all of that together. And then I added in about 1 cup of Fiesta blend, or aka Mexican blend cheese. And then I stirred those ingredients together to make sure everything was well combined. I also want to mention that I did not have my stovetop on while adding all of these ingredients. I then moved over to the other side of my counter, and I took 2 6-ounce cans of biscuits, and they contain 5 biscuits each. And then I just took my pizza cutter and cut them into 4 pieces. If you do decide to make this, make sure that you use the right size can of biscuits. You don't want to use the larger biscuits because they won't cook evenly. Once I got all of my biscuits cut up, I then added all of those biscuit pieces into my meat mixture and then just stirred that up really well. Once I got all of those ingredients mixed up really well, I then sprayed a large baking dish with some nonstick spray, and then I just poured all of those ingredients into my baking dish and spread all of that in there evenly. I then stuck it in the oven that I had preheated to 350 degrees, and I baked that for 25 minutes. After 25 minutes, I then removed it from the oven and I sprinkled my remaining Fiesta blend cheese over top, and then I stuck it back in the oven and I baked it for an additional 10 minutes. And this is what it looks like whenever it comes out of the oven. As you could see, it was super simple to make. It did not take a lot of ingredients, but yet it was beyond delicious. It was wonderful. I highly recommend this recipe, and here it is in my bowl. I cannot wait to have this again. This night for dinner, I fixed 1 pot garlic Parmesan fettuccine. The first thing that I done was melt 4 tablespoons of butter in my Dutch oven. This recipe was also another first for me. This was the first time that I have ever fixed fettuccine, and this recipe is also very good and very easy to make. This recipe also serves 8 people, so if you have a smaller or a larger family, you can adjust it accordingly. Once my butter was melted, I then added in 8 cloves of minced garlic, and then I just let that cook for a couple of minutes. I then added in a 32-ounce container of chicken broth. And 2 cups of milk, and I just stirred all of those ingredients together. I then added in a 16-ounce box of fettuccine, and I should have broke my fettuccine in half, but I didn't. I did it the hard way. I wasn't thinking, so don't be like me. Break your fettuccine in half to make it easier on you. I just pressed it down, and yeah, eventually all went in there. It's okay, still turned out good. I then sprinkled just a little bit of pepper to taste. I then stirred all of those ingredients together and let that come to a boil. Once that came to a boil, I then reduced the heat and I let that simmer for about 20 minutes until my pasta was done, and I just stirred it occasionally in between just to make sure my pasta was not sticking to the bottom of my Dutch oven. Once my pasta was finished cooking, I then gave it another good stir, and then I added in a half a cup of grated Parmesan cheese and stirred all of that together to make sure everything was well combined, and then it was ready to serve. This was another very easy and delicious meal. It's perfect for busy nights. It took about 30 minutes total to make this, and it turned out really good. I also fixed some great value garlic knots to have as a side. And here is my plate. This night for dinner, I fixed Crock-pot French onion burgers. This is Tamara from Southern Wife Everyday Life's recipe. So I will link her channel and her recipe below in my description box, and I will also link a video of her showing exactly how to make these French onion burgers. So make sure that you go check that out in my description box. You do not want to miss this recipe. This is one of my family favorites. I am so glad that she shared this on her channel because they are delicious. They are mouth-watering burgers and they are made in the Crock-pot. So that is wonderful. You don't have to heat up your house making these burgers, and you don't have to go outside and endure the heat. I also added some Duke's mayonnaise to my French onion burgers and a slice of provolone cheese. And I also fixed some Ore-Ida extra crispy fast food fries to have as a side. And here's my plate. Oh, these burgers, the best burgers ever. That's it for today's video. I hope that you all enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day.